Mind control projects, e.g. MKUltra at Area 51. Part 1, Introduction. Whispers from the Sand. Part Wahid, MKUltra, the verified beginning. Introduction to MKUltra. In 1953, under CIA Director Allen Dulles, a covert operation named MKUltra was born. Its goal, to explore mind control using drugs, psychological torture, and behavioral programming. Over 80 institutions, including universities and hospitals, unknowingly contributed to this project. LSD, the truth serum. CIA operatives believed LSD could render subjects disoriented and easily manipulated. Patients were often dosed without consent. In one infamous case, a scientist named Frank Olson died mysteriously after being unknowingly drugged. Declassified evidence. In the 1970s, the Church Committee exposed MKUltra to the public. Though most files were destroyed, around 20,000 documents survived. They detailed mind control research, including sleep deprivation, electroshock, isolation, and hypnosis, from control to weaponization. The goal shifted from research to operational use. Could the CIA implant false memories, erase identities, create programmable assassins? These were no longer just theories, they were experimental goals. The ethical collapse. Many victims never knew they were test subjects. Some suffered permanent mental damage. Others disappeared from records entirely. MKUltra was not just a scientific failure, it was a moral catastrophe. Pardue. The quiet transition to Area 50, Aeon, how MKUltra's legacy may have been covertly absorbed into black projects at Groom Lake. Disappearance or dispersal. In 1973, then CIA Director Richard Helms ordered all MKUltra files destroyed. This was assumed to be the end. But what if it wasn't? Investigators argue the program didn't end, it evolved. Research was absorbed into special access programs, SAPs, hidden deep within the military-industrial complex. Enter Groom Lake, Area 51. Area 51, officially part of Edwards Air Force Base, had by the 1980s become synonymous with secrecy. While it was known for experimental aircraft testing, it also hosted underground facilities off-limits to most personnel. Multiple whistleblowers claimed psychological experiments were conducted in these underground levels. Some hinted at continuation of trauma-based programming from MKUltra. Sub-basement levels and memory gaps. Former employees mentioned sub-basement levels, accessible only through biometric authorization. Witnesses described memory loss after assignments there similar to MKUltra's amnesiac conditioning. Joint operation with NSA and DARPA? In the 1990s, leaks hinted that Area 51 was not just an Air Force site. NSA and DARPA had interests in neurotechnology, EMF manipulation, and artificial telepathial linked to mind control research. This collaboration marked a silent transition from CIA-led chemical trials to military-industrial neural experiments. Code words: Monarch, Arkansas Tycoke, Stargate. While MKUltra was the umbrella, several sub-projects reportedly lived on. Project Monarch focused on trauma-based programming. Project Artichoke delved into forced confessions via hypnosis. Stargate allegedly mixed remote viewing and psychic warfare, possibly developed at Groom Lake. Satellite testimony. Dream manipulation room. One anonymous technician who claimed to work on neurosensory calibration chambers at Area 51 described them as rooms designed to implant images and sounds into dreams. Whether fact or fiction, the core idea persists. Area 51 didn't start mind control, but may have become its silent laboratory. Park Thalatha, alien tech, human minds. Was extraterrestrial technology reverse engineered for psychological manipulation? Roswell. The origin of the rumors. The 1,947 Roswell crash sparked global theories about extraterrestrial life. However, another layer of theory emerged decades later, that alien artifacts recovered weren't just for aircraft design, but for understanding the mind. Neural interfaces, from non-human sources. According to whistleblower Bob Lazar, at least one alien craft in S4, a sector south of Area 51, was operated through biological interface, a system responding to thought, not physical control. If this is true, it would mean alien beings possess advanced neurosensory technology potentially adaptable for human use. Voice transmission devices. Multiple leaked testimonies suggest devices were recovered that could implant sound or voices into a person's auditory field without any speakers. Some compared the phenomenon to schizophrenic voices in the head, but with technological precision. Biological modulation frequencies. According to a declassified Soviet-era briefing, both US and USSR explored frequencies capable of altering emotional states. Area 51 is rumored to have housed experimental systems adapted from alien circuitry that could amplify this effect. The thought mirror device. A retired radar operator at Nellis AFB claimed to have seen a test involving a thought mirror, a device that allegedly allowed one individual to view another's mental imagery. This parallels psychic phenomena, but through an engineered technological medium. Alien-human hybrid neural testing. In several testimonies, subjects referred to as hybrids were monitored under classified neurological scans. The aim: detect differences in perception, emotion processing, and cognitive frequency range. These tests may hint at an effort to understand the optimal brain modeling, how to replicate or control it. Reverse engineering, the consciousness interface. If alien crafts responded to thought, then perhaps their interface is the mind itself. Area 5, the first of, may have hosted cross-disciplinary teams, neuroscientists, physicists, cryptologists, trying to map out a neural operating system. Such a system, once mastered, could allow not just control of machines, but of people. Conclusion: from crash sites to thought labs. What began as a salvage operation in the desert may have birthed a dark revolution in neuroweaponry. Area 51, in this context, is not a UFO hangar, but a cognition warfare center. Pas 4, voice to skull, neurological weapons, technology that speaks to your mind and possibly rewires it. Voice to skull, explain. Also known as V2K, voice to skull, this term describes a form of directed microwave transmission that can project sound into an individual's auditory cortex without using speakers or physical sound. Victims report hearing clear voices, music, or commands as if they came from within their own heads. Evidence in U.S. military patents, a 2002 U.S. patent, number 6,587,729, titled Apparatus for Audibly Communicating Speech Using the Radio Frequency Hearing Effect, explicitly describes this method. It details how microwave auditory effect can implant specific spoken phrases directly into the brain, bypassing the ears entirely. Neuroweapon. Development. DARPA. Since the early 2000s, DARPA, Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, has funded projects under non-lethal weapons and neurological disruption tools. One declassified report referred to microwave behavioral influence technology capable of modulating perception and compliance. The link to Area 51. Several independent researchers argue that Area 51 has long served as the testing ground for prototype neuroweapons. These include not only V2K devices, but also emotional modulation beams and targeted memory erasure field. Synthetic telepathy. Trials from 2010-2016, leaked DARPA projects reference the term synthetic telepathy, the transmission of thought using brain-computer interfaces. Whistleblowers allege that Area 51 ran field tests using neural implants that allowed remote suggestion and impulse insertion. Psychological effects on test subjects. Survivors of these programs described feelings of dissociation, paranoia, auditory hallucinations, and extreme fatigue conditions often mistaken for mental illness. In fact, some insiders suggest that mental institutions in Nevada were used to isolate or silence affected test subjects. Silent Sound Spread Spectrum, SSSS. Another system reportedly tested at Groom Lake is SSSS, which transmits subliminal commands via ultra-high frequency sound. Originally designed for crowd control, some allege it was redirected to one-on-one psychological influence. Weaponization of thought. These technologies, once perfected, shift warfare from the battlefield to the mind. Instead of bombs, enemies may be disarmed through confusion, despair, or involuntary compliance. In this framework, the human mind becomes the final frontier and ultimate weapon. Part comes up. Testimonies from survivors, whistleblowers. Stories that were never meant to be heard. Kathy O'Brien, the most notorious survivor. In her book, Transformation of America, Kathy O'Brien claims to have been a victim of Project Monarcha subset of MKUltra. She alleged that programming centers existed beneath military bases, including near Area 51. Her descriptions involve trauma-based mind control, dissociative identity creation, and ritual abuse. She names several high-profile government and military figures. Dr. Michael Wolff, insider at S4. Dr. Wolff, a former National Security Council member, claimed to have worked at S4, a subdivision of Area 51. He spoke of neurological experiments combining alien and human tech. In interviews before his death, he described mental blending trials and behavioral overrides conducted deep underground. Duncan O'Finioan, super soldier claimant. Duncan alleged that he was part of a Black Ops mind control program in his childhood where he was trained using electromagnetic fields and pain-based conditioning. He remembered being taken to underground labs via aircraft and tunnels, some of which matched geographic data around Groom Lake. An anonymous Air Force linguist, 1,998. In a 1,998 underground forum leak, a man claiming to be a former Air Force linguist said he translated alien symbols and thought scripts during experiments in a bunker labeled Delta 5. He said test subjects responded to those scripts as if hypnotized them, even crying or collapsing under emotional overload. Common psychological symptoms. Across testimonies, recurring symptoms appear: memory gaps, intrusive thoughts, paranoia, and uncontrollable emotional surges. Several witnesses claimed they were institutionalized or discredited by force to silence their stories. Suppression and retaliation. Survivors often face intimidation, vehicles parked near their homes, phones tapped, even blackouts during media interviews. Kathy O'Brien claimed her child was taken from her on Doctor. Wolff reported constant surveillance. Duncan stated he was programmed to self-destruct if he revealed too much. Conclusion. Testimonies ignored but not erased. Whether one believes them or not, the consistency across these testimonies is chilling. All point to programs where memory, identity, and consciousness are weaponized, often in places tied to Area 51. Part Sitta, the missing, people who vanished. The most haunting question: where did they go? Several scientists linked to MKUltra or adjacent neuroweapon research programs have reportedly disappeared without trace. Dr. Louis Jolyon West, a known MKUltra psychiatrist, was reportedly relocated in the 1980s after a dispute with the CIA and dropped from public records. Janet facility, workers, a pattern of silence. Janet Airlines is the semi-secret air service transporting Area 51 workers. Reports suggest that some employees signed lifelong NDAs and never returned home after being reassigned to remote test areas. Family members of missing workers were often told they accepted a permanent reassignment and could no longer be contacted. The case of Dr. Alan Riker, 1,993. Dr. Riker, a neuroscientist working for a DARPA subcontractor, vanished during a project reportedly tied to frequency mapping of fear responses. His last known location was a remote installation near Rachel, Nevada, within the Area 51 perimeter. His equipment was recovered. He was not Civilian testimonies of ghost personnel. Some contractors working near Area 51 describe encounters with silent, uniformed individuals who never spoke and vanished after operations. These ghosts were rumored to be experimental subjects or mind-controlled operatives. Missing persons clusters. Between 1990 and 2008, over a dozen people reportedly vanished near Groom Lake. Most were hikers, freelance engineers, or amateur investigators. In many cases, their vehicles were found intact with wallets and phones inside, but no trace of them. Area 51, security and legal loopholes. Due to its national security classification, Area 51 enjoys near-complete legal immunity. Search warrants, lawsuits, or even police investigations are routinely dismissed or denied. This allows disappearances to be swept under the bureaucratic rug. Digital erasure of identities. Several independent researchers have found evidence that some missing individuals had their online presence, tax records, and medical data erased shortly after vanishing. It's as if someone wanted them to have never existed. Conclusion. Erased in mind, body, and record. Disappearance in these contexts isn't just physical, it's ontological. It erases a person's presence, memory, and digital footprint. These cases reinforce a terrifying possibility that mind control programs are protected not by secrecy alone, but by obliteration. Barcept, the digital mind war, future threat. The battlefield has moved from the mind to the cloud, from psyops to cyber neuro warfare. Traditional mind control relied on drugs, trauma, and isolation. But in the 21st century, a new model emerged. Algorithmic manipulation, neuro-AI integration, and biometric surveillance. Area 51 is believed to play a crucial role in testing AI-linked neuroweapons and behavioral control systems that work in real time via satellites and cloud servers. Neural lace and thought-driven interfaces. Inspired by Elon Musk's Neuralink and earlier DARPA research, new brain-computer interfaces are now being tested at black sites. These allow both read and write access to human thought. In theory, a remote operator could implant memories, delete emotions, or induce obedience. AI predicted behavior models. Using big data from social media, GPS, EEG wearables, and even emotional tracking, advanced AI can now predict your next decision and influence it milliseconds before you're aware. Reports suggest such systems are being quietly prototyped at cybernetic test beds linked to Area 51 and Sandia Labs. Remote neuromodulation via 5G satellite. Some whistleblowers claim 5G networks and low-orbit satellites can be used to trigger brainwave interference or emotional shifts on a massive scale. This means influence is no longer local, it is planetary. Synthetic consciousness and uploaded minds. A controversial area of research involves uploading human consciousness to cloud systems, a step toward digital immortality or full behavioral override. Some fear that such systems could simulate a person's decisions or worse, replace them entirely. The rise of cognitive firewalls. In response, some defense programs are exploring cognitive firewalls, brainwave patterns that block invasive frequencies. These are being developed in counter labs, some say, beneath Kirtland AFB and inside modules at Area 51. Global mind control grids? A fringe theory gaining attention suggests that mind control has already gone global. It's not just black projects, but part of a predictive governance model run by AI in tandem with human surveillance agencies. Conclusion: the mind is the final weapon. As history moves forward, the tools may change, but the goal remains the same: control. Area 5, the 1st of May, have been just a testing ground, but the true war now rages inside your mind, your thoughts, your digital self.